Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of BluPrints, where today we're going to do something a little bit different. In the last 3 episodes of BluPrints, since we started this series back up, they have focused primarily on redstone, and we are going to go in a different direction today. We are going to work on creative building and to show how to build one of the new biomes that was announced at Minecon. Just a little bit of housekeeping information for you guys for future episodes of BluPrints. If we're going to be building a redstone contraption, it will be surrounded by a redstone block barrier, and if it's going to be a creative build, it will be surrounded by a blue concrete barrier, just so you guys can tell the difference. If you have no idea what we're talking about, or you're watching this in the future, Minecon 2019 announced a Nether update, which is definitely much needed, because it's been a while since anything new has been added to the Nether. And I am very excited about these 3 new biomes and some new mobs and some other things that will be coming that probably haven't been announced yet. But that is besides the point. One of my favorite things about the Nether is that we are getting a blue biome. Now, it's not exactly the same color blue as BluJay, but it is blue nonetheless. So, we've got a blue Nether Wart forest coming to the game, and I couldn't be more excited. So we are going to use our creative brain power and build a replica of what that biome will look like when it is finally released. Let's take a look at it together. As you can see here, I've already built a partial version of one of the brand new biomes that they announced at Minecon 2019. 2 of those biomes are different versions of the same biome, being the Nether Wart Forest, and there will also be a Soul Sand Valley. In today's episode of BluPrints, we're going to take a look at how to build the blue version of the Nether Wart Forest. Now, this isn't going to look the same as all of the video clips and pictures that you've seen floating around the internet, because we are limited by the blocks that we have available in Minecraft right now. We don't have the floor blocks and the tree blocks and the coral blocks or whatever the plants are going to be that are in the Nether. We don't have the mushrooms yet, but we do have things that look very similar. So this is a creative interpretation of what those biomes are going to look like so that you can build them in your own worlds now. The first block that we're going to want to use for our floor is the cyan concrete powder, because it does most closely represent the floor block that you will find in a blue Nether Wart forest. It is not identical, because in the actual block that we will be getting in-game, there is the netherrack siding to it as well, so it kind of looks like a nether version of grass, but this is what we have to use for the time being, and might I say, it does look pretty fantastic and very eerie. This is where we take a little bit of creative license with our build, because while the flooring does look pretty similar to what will end up in the actual game, the tree trunks for the Nether Wart Forest do not look very similar, but they are the closest thing that we have to start with in the game right now. Moving past the tree trunks themselves, the leaves, for lack of a better term, because we don't know what these are actually made of just yet, do look very similar to what will end up in the game as well, and I've got a custom glowstone texture that I use in most of my videos, which I'm going to put on MCPE DL at some point very soon, available for you guys, so that you have this texture and the stained glass texture that I have, but that's besides the point. Another talk for another video. How do we make these trees? These tree trunks are made out of chorus plants, and if we just try to place them down on any block, they don't actually go down. So we gotta cheat the system just a little bit by taking some instone and planting it on top of that. The way that I've tried to hide these a little bit better so that you don't see the end in the Nether is to place them well below the surface. A couple blocks below will do fine. And we just go ahead and break these blocks. The concrete powder will fall, but that's not a problem. We'll just replace it with a couple more pieces just like so, and then we can start planting our tree trunk. The process does get a little trickier here with the tree build, because if we just place down concrete powder like this, it does react to gravity, so it will fall to the ground. To get around that issue, we have a couple of solutions. One of them would be to place string, and then directly on top of that string place down another block. You gotta be careful with this too, because if you place it any higher than one above the string, it will just fall straight through the string and kind of defeat the purpose of the string itself. So place it one block above, and then you can place them as high as you want. And you'll have to do this as far as you want to build your trees out. The other solution that I've come up with is to use a little bit of texture variation, so we can use some of the hardened concrete, which I do think makes a nice effect on the trees themselves, and then we can place some concrete powder on the top of them just like that. And then we've got a tree in progress. If you look carefully at the picture as well, you will notice that there is what resembles a new texture of glowstone. I'm not sure if they're redoing it or adding a new light source into the game, but either way, they do come on the inside of these Nether Wart forest trees, and so we can place one down here, and then maybe we'll go ahead and place another one up here off to the side, maybe push it out one block so that we can have a little bit more of an expansive tree, and we'll continue to fill this in. Once we've got our tree built, we can add a few more things to this area to make it a little bit more atmospheric and feel like a little bit more of a complete biome. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to replace at random pieces of our concrete powder with netherrack and light it on fire. If you look closely at the images that you saw at Minecon, you can see that there are still traditional looking flames in this particular biome. Now, in the soul sand biome that is coming out, not the one that we're doing today, but in the soul sand biome, there will be blue fire, and that will look fantastic. In order to get the blue fire, you will need to light soul sand on fire, and it will automatically become that blue amazing color. I do like the blue fire a little bit more because, you know, my name is BluJay and blue is our favorite color, but for this particular biome, the traditional fire looks pretty fantastic. Next up, if you look even closer at the image, you can see some plants that are red in color, and unfortunately, we don't have anything that looks like that besides coral, and coral, if it's not next to water, will unfortunately turn into dead coral and be gray. So it still looks cool for the purpose of this build, but it's not exactly identical to what we will see in the game once it comes out. The new biome will also have some of these cool looking mushroom plants of a different color once again, but this is what we have in the game for the time being, and it looks pretty cool if I do say so myself. Last but not least, if you take a very, very close look at the Minecon footage, you will notice that there are some pretty cool particle effects in the new biomes. And in the Nether Wart forest, you will notice that there are some particles that are floating upward, kind of makes it look like the upside down from Stranger Things. And again, unfortunately, not something we can mimic just yet, but I thought maybe we could add a little bit more movement and atmosphere by taking some of these campfires and letting the smoke fill the air. So the way that we do this is to place one underground like so, and then go ahead and place concrete powder on top of it directly. This works because if you place a campfire directly below one block and place the block on top of it, then it will allow the smoke to travel through the block and into the air without actually seeing the campfire. And that's going to be about it for today on how to build the blue Nether Wart forest. Go ahead and let me know in the comment section which of the 3 new biomes that were announced that you are excited about the most. And if you'd like to see me tackle my interpretation of either of the other 2 biomes coming to the game, just let me know and I'd be happy to give it a try. But for now, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode of BluPrints. Hey everybody, it's BluJay again. Be sure to go check out another episode of BluPrints found here at the end screen.